Now, we're very lucky. We can go straight into Blues camp right now because it's obviously a very busy morning with all the players now coming in, with the exception of Reece Robson, who arrived last night. There's a lot happening. There's fittings. There's medicals to be had. Greg Alexander is in camp in Coogee. And contrary to what a caller said earlier, it was the Rooster Man, wasn't it, who made the allegation Brandy lied about camp? No, they aren't going into camp until today. It was only Reece Robson that went into camp last night, and indeed Freddie and Brandy. He's on the line right now. Brandy, welcome.
Bossy, Copes, morning.
It'd be like you'd almost roll out the red carpet now. So Reece Robson arrived last night, but every other player arrives of their own volition now. And I think Michelle said Hudson Young was the second player through. So over the next hour, you've got this constant traffic of players arriving, correct?
Correct. Yes. Spot on, Andrew. Well, Reece had to make his way down last night because otherwise he'd be catching a very early flight to get here this morning. So it was easier for Reece to jump on a plane yesterday.
We've only had confirmation of the team with Michelle just there before 8 o'clock. The 19 that the paper had put together the pieces. Can we ask you this, Brandy? How contentious was some of it? Michelle had mail that Hudson Young might not have got a call before 9:30 last night. Does that mean that there was a fair bit of argy-bargy going on as to nailing down the team for this game, or there were some injury doubts?
No, well, there's a lot of things to take into consideration, Vossi, and the fact that there was a game yesterday and there was no real rush for us, and I caught the show earlier this morning when you were talking about the old days, and the old days were only 3 or 4 years ago, where you would announce the side after the 6 o'clock game, which was very rushed. So there was and when it was decided that the side would be announced at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, well, there was plenty of time. We weren't in a rush, so the board had to be informed. And I think by the time Freddie got onto the board last night, they had an 8 o'clock meeting. That was about 8:30 that he spoke to the board and said, "This is the team." And then players were informed after that. So Hudson Young at 9:30. Nothing really confusing about that. That's just the side wasn't being announced until 11 a.m. this morning. But yet we should have realised that. The side gets out. Now, there's no secrets in rugby league. There is no secrets. Once you inform players, clubs, boards, people talk, and they like to be the bearer of news to media people. So that's why the side's been announced now. There's no point waiting till 11 o'clock. Everyone knows the side. So that was just confirmed before 8 o'clock. And I guess Michelle brought you that news, boys, and that's it. But there was no rush last night to get in touch with people. So if Hudson Young was contacted at 9:30, I think Hudson would have been happy to get the call.
Yeah,
whether
absolutely.
it was 9:30, 10:30 or 11:30.
Yeah, I totally agree. If it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you're taking that call. That is for sure. And I guess your point is exactly right. I think our chat around it was exactly that you could probably save yourself a bit of speculation, but if you don't care about that, then push on. I think that process makes 100% sense.
Yeah, you don't do things. You don't do things to keep. You can't keep everyone happy, Trent.
You're spot on.
The fans, the media, the players. You've got to make a decision. And once you say, well, we'll announce at 11 o'clock, well, that's it. So, there was time last night to mull things over and then get in touch with the board.
Yeah. Brandy, you know what our Edgewater Homes text line is like here on the breakfast program. I would say that we're running at about 50-50. 50% the Hines camp, 50% the Moses camp. Some people saying you've been horribly treated. You've got him out. Others saying, no, Moses is the better option. Can you tell us, was it a really closely run race between who would be starting 7?
Yeah, it was, Vossi. And it's a very tough decision and I dare anyone to say that they could confidently pick what was going to happen up there Wednesday week as to who would out of the 3 candidates really to fill the role left by Nathan Cleary. whether it was Mitch Moses, Nico Hines, or Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds has been in great form. Nico Hines has been in terrific form for 18 months. Mitch Moses has had a very good year. It was a tight thing, Bossy. But, Mitch, with pressure on him yesterday, I thought Mitch was outstanding. Mitch has got a great kicking game. He's been there before. He's played halfback for New South Wales at Suncorp Stadium before. So not an easy decision, but, you can only pick one. And in Nico's situation, we did only pick one because we decided to go with the two hookers. With Happy not available, we decided to go with the two hookers, which brings Reece Robson into that position.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? A bit of speculation around that change of thought tactically. How much of it in your job as a selector, I'm thinking in my cricket lens here, selectors have to often just go with your gut. It's not often black and white. And as you say, projecting forward to next Wednesday, you don't know whether it's the right call or not, but you just got to trust yourself you're going to get it right, don't you?
Yeah, well, that's it, Trent. Yes, you do. And when you lose, well, you don't get it right. Well, that's how it's painted. You don't get it right, so you've got to win. So that's as simple as that. And it can come down to a moment in a game, and that's the difference between, in hindsight, getting it right or getting it wrong. But I'm confident that, the side we've picked, we've gone with Hudson Young again. Very impressed with the way Hudson played for the Raiders after, I guess, his disappointment of Origin 1, where there was a couple of errors and he was replaced and never got back on the field. So we were willing. We think Hudson's an Origin player, and he certainly deserves a second crack at it. So, Hudson gets another chance. Stefano fills that spot that we just couldn't go with Tavita Pangai again. And we needed a third front rower, so Stefano fills that spot. He's been part of the camp. He's certainly part of the camp in 21 and again in Game 1 over there in Adelaide. And he's been in good form for the Tigers, and I know he'll be able to do the job for us.
Brandy, we agree on a lot of things. We disagree on a lot of things. That's why. But what makes the show click? I mean, we can't be on the same page on everything. I can't agree with the logic from Game 1, Game 2, even more so. You know what I feel about, these days with the HIA, you've got to have backline positions covered. And I can't understand the logic. Game 1, Hines is there. And I'm not talking about players specifically. I'm talking about the logic of having backline cover on your bench in Game 1. I support that. But to not have the backline cover Game 2, I can't get my head around that, given that we have these situations these days with HIAs. You could lose one of your backline players within 5 minutes, and they're off for 15. And how are you going to cover that with a bench of Robson, Murray, Martin, Utoi Kamanu? I don't see flexibility in the New South Wales squad. Is it a gamble not having that utility player?
It probably is a bit of a gamble, Vossi, but I think it's a calculated gamble. And if there was a player that went down in the back line, we've got centres that can push out to the wing. We've got centres that can play fullback. We've got a 5'8" that can play half, and on ball, Jerome Luai. And we've got Cameron Murray, who at a pinch could play in the centres. So Cam Murray would be that player that could fill the role of centre. You can push Tom out to a wing. Fullback can be covered by one of the centres. So it's a calculated risk, but I think it's one we thought we were willing to take, Vossi, in a must-win game at Suncorp Stadium. We're happy with the side we're picked, and sometimes you can't cover every contingency for the betterment of the 80 minutes, but we think we can, if there is a back that goes down, we think we've got cover.
Yeah, and what about how much, there's a lot of talk about selection, about people who are being dropped, but what about the things you're excited about from Game 1? Because I think maybe what's lost in all of this is with under 10 minutes to go, you're up by 2 points. So, there's elements there, particularly in my eyes, Liam Martin, I thought he was outstanding. The things that you want to build on for Game 2.
Yeah, look, I think there was moments that, if we win those moments, we win the game, Trent. We got off to a bad start. But when you look at that side we've got, it's a good side. It's a very good side, and I'm confident. We can do something special. And it will take something extraordinary to go up there and beat Queensland at Suncorp to keep the series alive. But we've got a good team. The captain's ready to go, Teddy. So I'm confident in all the players that we've got in that lineup.
And Brandy, just lastly on Nicho Hines, talk to us about that conversation. How difficult is it to let someone know after 10 minutes of Origin that they're going to miss out?
Yes. Well, Freddie rang Nicho, so and that's a conversation that he had with all the players that were left out. So yeah, very, very tough. That would be one of the more difficult things of the job to inform players that they're not part of it. So, but it is part of the job too. You talk to those players and you let them know what's going on.
All right, Brandy. Well, camp starts again. We'll continue to take feedback. I mean, that's how it is. It will conjecture. We'll be right up to game number 2. Then New South Wales win, and it's 1-1, and then it'll go again, and off it will be. It's an amazing thing that we have. I just say even money. I've looked at the two sides, Brandy. I reckon Queensland side's a cracking squad. New South Wales, still that back line, Tedesco, Adokar, Mitchell, Trebojevic, Toto. That's a hell of a 1 to 5. We'll see how things pan out. Enjoy it. We'll catch up during the week. And you good towels there, or they saw you coming?
I haven't had time to check the linen yet, Vossi, but
No.
I will. I'll run my eye across it. No
Are they
doubt.
good slippers? We could have, Brandy, could you do a separate rating at the end of this series, rate the slippers from all the different hotel rooms? Could you do a 1 to 5 of which ones were better? Because I hate those flimsy little ones. There's not much to them. But the ones that have a little bit of padding is good.
Take a couple of photos and put them on our website, Vossi, and the listeners can have a look at
That would be nice. That's the important issue. Thank you, Brandy.
Yes.
Have a great day. Look, we're going to plug. We're going to have Camp Cam with Brandy on our TikTok account every day this week. Make sure you subscribe to the SEN TikTok account. Search for SEN League. So maybe the slippers are going to be your first content. If they are, we mightn't get too many followers right off the bat. But Brandy, are you all over that? The TikTok account? He's gone. Yeah, he's gone off the film. He's gone off the film.
Yeah.
Brandy, I reckon there could be jackass areas by the end of the week. Brandy will be so good at filming things and stunts and gotchas. It'll be fantastic. So follow SEN League, the SEN TikTok account for Camp Cam with Brandy. Talk about take a risk on a segment. There we go. 17 and a half after 8. Lee Hadji Pentelis is coming up on the program. More of your texts and calls, of course. We're here until 9 a.m. and then Matty White to run with the ball on SEN.